Hello and welcome. Today I'm sharing with you a few games that I think maybe could come to Evercade as part of Game of the Month and Indie Heroes. There's little to say either way on most of these games as to whether that it could happen or not, but they're ones I've come across that I think might be worth a shout, or perhaps worth Blaze having a look at if they haven't already, because no doubt they've already got all the games lined up for this current run of Game of the Month, and who knows, maybe some of these will be amongst them. This first game is one I don't think is that likely. It's a game called Last Defense for the Mega Drive. I can't remember who did it, but it's quite a basic shoot 'em up where you're shooting oncoming things, and if they get past you then you lose a life and you basically have to stop the oncoming threat. Anyway, I'm not sure if the game is complete or if it's just a demo, but yeah, who knows. And this next one, Cavallero, I think is also rather incomplete and unlikely. It's developed by the same people who did DevWorld 2, but it seems to be a sort of Ghouls and Ghosts like, or at least a proof of concept for something. It doesn't feel like a finished game by any stretch of the imagination. This next one, Prison Ella MD, it's a cute little puzzle platformer thing where you essentially have to make it to the exit on each screen. When you die, it randomly takes you to another one. Again, I'm not quite sure how complete it is, but the version I have does describe it as being a full version. It's quite a cute little charming game, but fairly lightweight. Next is Insane Pain, a Mortal Kombat clone for the Mega Drive with pre-rendered sprites. It would be a novelty to get a one-on-one fighting game on an Indie Heroes collection, but what I've played of it, it does feel a little bit rough around the edges. Again, I'm not sure how much of a finished version this is. Next up is one I have done a video dedicated to solely, and this is Night Vein for the Mega Drive, a top-down hack and slash action adventure with some nice graphics, decent music, and there is a demo available, which is how I've played it, but I'm not sure when the full release is, so this would be at some vague point in the future if it were to come to Evercade. Now the next few games I think are all in the realm of possibility, as they're all developed by PSCD Games, who have done a number of games which have appeared on the Indie Heroes collections, although there may be some other things getting in the way of it happening. First up is Black Jewel Reborn. Now this is the Mega Drive version, I believe it's also on the NES. Again, this is the demo I've played here, but I believe the full game is complete. Anyway, it's a 2D hack and slash. I wouldn't say it's an amazing game, but it's solid enough, it's pretty fun, and I think would be ideal sort of mid-tier Indie Heroes fodder. They also developed Cyber Mission, which is a horizontally scrolling shoot 'em up, sort of in the molds of Forgotten Worlds or Sidearms, things like that. And again, this one's pretty good from what I've played of it so far. Once again, this is a demo, although I think the full game is complete. We are ready to go down to hell. Let's do it. And lastly, there is Hunter Girls or Battle Women. I think it is known as Battle Women now, which is an auto-scroller where you control, I think it's up to 3 characters, each with different abilities, and use them to evade, damage or jump your foes as you're running through the forest or whatever. Again, not a bad little game, wouldn't necessarily be for everyone's taste, but just like the other games, I think it would be a pretty solid entry on an Indie Heroes collection. So changing tack a little bit, next I'm going on to some Spectrum games. As Gerbert the Groundhog features as the latest game of the month, will be on Indie Heroes 5. I figured, well, there could be more Specky games, so why not? First up is Maisie Day Is Not Okay, which is very much a riff on Sabrewulf. It's developed by KTB Retro Computing Productions, and it's one of a number of games they've done. Now, this and the other games by KTB Retro Computing Productions, I think, are very possible, or at least in the sense of the developer would be happy to have the games appear on the Evercade. Also by KTB Retro Computing Productions, that's a mouthful, I'll just say KTB from now on, is Rescue Rocky, a game where you control a rocket rescuing stranded people, I guess. The first level is very simple, as you'll be able to see, although it gets a bit more challenging as you go on. So that'd be an interesting sort of puzzle type game. Also, KTB Productions is responsible for Noon 30 Shovel Duck, a platform action adventure which isn't entirely dissimilar from Gerbert. Now, KTB Productions do have other games as well. And again, in theory, we could see any or none of these on the Evercade. I guess we'll have to wait and see. The next game is Higgy 2. There is a Higgy 1 as well, and I'm not sure this one's all that likely, but it would be amusing, as it's based upon the character, or the character is based upon Ian Higton, who goes by Platform 32, and he quite often covers Evercade stuff on his live streams. So it'd be quite amusing to see a game based upon him on the Evercade, even if I didn't make it off the first screen of the game. Next is a game called Secrets, Castle of Doom, and I didn't get very far with this one, but it seemed like a fairly interesting arcade adventure. And finally, for the ZX Spectrum games, Hack and Cast, a top-down action-adventure, a little bit gauntlet-like, which mainly sees you run around slashing on monsters, collecting keys and progressing. It's developed by Minilop, who also have a number of other games for the Spectrum. I mean, any of which would be quite interesting inclusions on an Indie Heroes collection. But anyway, that is it for Spectrum games. I'm not sure how broad appealing these would be, although Gerbert does seem to have gone down fairly well, so you never know. Switching things up to the Game Boy and Game Boy Color, the next two games are by Naiad Productions. The first of which is Hungry Ninja, a precision platformer where you control a ninja who is hungry, trying to get some tasty treats or something. It also includes a Flappy Bird-like thing which is insanely difficult, or my reactions just aren't up to snuff. And even the main platforming section of Hungry Ninja may make you tear your hair out. But they call them precision platformers for a reason. So while the graphics are very simple, for a game made with GB Studio, the controls are surprisingly tight. The next game by Naiad Productions is Pixie and Friends, a 4-in-1 game collection with Pixie, Sudoku, Minesweeper and QB8. And they're almost the complete opposite of Hungry Ninja. Although, again, it still doesn't look like much. This isn't, or these aren't the sort of games that rely on graphics. And some people would be thinking, oh hell no, if you thought that Checkers or Bridge didn't belong on the Activision collections, well maybe these won't do much for you. But as games to pass the time, yeah, I can see there'd be an audience for these. Especially as the majority of the Evercade user base is getting older and, well, we're getting to the age where Bridge, Checkers and Sudoku are our traditional pastimes. I really think this would be a neat addition to the Evercade. It'd just be unlike most other things on any Indie Heroes collections. All it's really missing is noughts and crosses, or tic-tac-toe, whatever you want to call it, and a word search where you search for rude words. Now, most of the games that I've covered are ones that would be, I suppose, your mid-tier Indie Heroes releases or your filler content, without too many really being what you'd consider like an essential game or a cart seller. But something I think would be a cart seller for it, or part of the draw, would be Damon Claw, which is a side-scrolling beat-em-up hack and slash, sort of in the mould of Kung Fu Master, just with more moves. The Mega Drive version is complete, and there is a Neo Geo version on the way, as well as the modern console version. Now, the Mega Drive and Neo Geo versions have exclusive unique characters, such as the Mega Drive version having Gareth from the Asterborg games in it. And the Neo Geo has a witch or wizardy magic user type character. But again, I don't think that is complete yet. Either version would be welcome in my opinion, but it would be nice to have an indie Neo Geo game. Anyway, I think that's enough for one video. I may do another one like this if the mood takes me. I mean, there's hundreds of aftermarket games for these old systems that would be ripe for the Evercade. Oh, the ones that aren't using assets from other things or aren't remakes of old games. And I think the inclusion of home computer games on the Indie Heroes or Game of the Month thing really opens stuff up. And regardless of what's coming, how good it is, at least we already have a pretty good idea that Indie Heroes 5 is going to be worth picking up, if only for Biomenace Remastered alone, although I've liked all of the games so far to some degree. Even though I do fully expect there to be games that I don't like coming in the coming months for it. You know, not every game is going to please everyone, but so far so good in my opinion. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.